Hey guys, we're working more with circles today, specifically angles in a circle. So the central angle kind of gives it away where it's going. It's going to that center of the circle. So again, anytime you've got an angle that comes to the center, that would be a central angle. This would be something that is not a central angle, or if it did this, it probably won't ever do that like that. But anything that comes to the center is going to be a central angle. So specifically, a central angle is an angle whose vertex is the center of that circle. So again, if we this is angle A, we call it angle A. We could call it angle BAC. If you want to pause the video and practice what's one more name it could be called, it would be angle CAB. Okay, so all of those are talking about the exact same angle in this picture. Remember, most of the time we want to use three letters if we can. And then again, some naming practice. This would be circle A with that circle notation off to the side. So a specific arc is that's just a portion of the circle. So a portion of that circumference is going to be our arc. And so we've got a lot of different kinds of arcs depending on the size of our circle. So something is a minor arc if it's less than half of that circumference, or another way you could think about it is if it's 180 degrees or less. So again, if it comes like this, the red portion would be our minor arc in this purple portion. Purple portion would be what our next answer is, which that would be a major arc. And the red, again, would be a minor arc. And again, we want to use just two letters for the minor arcs. The major arcs specifically are going to be using three letters, though. So a major arc is going to be an angle that is more than half the circle, or 180 degrees or taller. Taller? Probably bigger. That's a better word there. 180 degrees or bigger. So again, if we had that same little red angle, the major arc would be the one out there. And that's the one that we would want to use three letters for. So if we get some practice naming, if I wanted to name the minor arc D, E, F, if those were the points given to me, the minor arc would be DF. And we're going to have a line an arc over the top of it. And that major arc, we would actually need a third point to name it. Because if I just said DF again, you wouldn't know which one it's talking about. So if you had another point over here like J, you would call that, trying to grab purple here, you would call that DJF with three letters there. So again, the major arcs are going to have three letters. The minor arcs are only going to have two. So a semicircle, that's half of the circle. That's a special kind of situation there. And we are still going to use three letters. That's when it's perfectly half of the circumference. So if you had something like a diameter drawn right there, and you had like A, B, C, and D over here, that perfect semicircle or half circle, again, needs to have those three letters. And we would call that something like A, D, C. Notice I would not want to call that A, C, D. A to C to D would be that situation over there, which is not what we're looking at. So again, that would be not what we want. We would also not want something like DAC. So again, you want to start the circle or the arc where it starts and end it where it ends. So you either want to start with A and go to C, or start with C and go to A. Okay, let's be intentional with our naming practices there. And so now this is where most of the class is going to go from here, looking at the measure of an arc. And so the measure of an arc is equal to the measure of that central angle. So that's a pretty nice situation where they're just going to literally be exactly the same. So it's the fact that there was a 60 out here makes it so that I could bump it down into the central angle, or the other way around where I'm given 60 on the inside, I can bump that out to the central angle right there. So now what you're going to eventually get into is if that is 60 degrees, what would this major arc be? How big is arc A, C, B? If you want to pause the video and try to figure it out, you can. Hopefully you're seeing that it should be 300 degrees, and that's because the green plus this purple needs to make 360 altogether. So I just subtracted off 60 from 360 to get 300. Okay. And so that's going to be what's on the next page, is figuring out if I'm given an arc or a central angle, how do I find the other information around the circle?